Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to podcast episode number 7. Just wanted to jump in here because I was editing this podcast and I realized that we didn't check the manual focus and it was a little blurry in the content, but I've digitally enhanced it because we weren't able to reshoot it being in quarantine right now in Brisbane. So I just want to let you know that we know it looks a little different, but I hope you enjoy it just the same. If you're listening to it in your ears, it's going to sound just as crisp, but enjoy.
They're guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Well, if it isn't another podcast with the Magic Guys. Josh, WJ Norbido, who is mostly in shot, and Jason the Iron Ma.
Who's going to be in shot?
Who's now in shot.
Now you're in shot. Nice.
So let's break it down. What are your thoughts on playing cards? Specifically, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. Okay,
hang on, don't we want to start with like how are you and like it's good to see you guys and
all right, fine
all that stuff.
How are you guys? Oh, that's right, we can't hear you, Josh.
For us, we're actually in the new year now. We filmed last week's ones knowing you'd be watching it in the future, but now we're actually in 2021.
At the time of recording this, it's 12:14 on the 7th of January.
Yeah, so we're well into the new year. We've done a lot of things since that time.
Yeah.
One of which you'll notice is Jason's 40 magic tricks in one video.
Yeah, that was my way of kicking off most people don't know this, but I think they do it at the same time because I don't think people are dumb. But for like 3 days into the new year, I was wasted.
Yeah. Well, I got a message from your wife saying, just in case he doesn't text you back, just message me.
Yeah. She's good like that. She looks after me. Dude, I had to make a whole day drunk. And then Spidey hits me up and goes, hey, bro.
So that was the day that I filmed for your channel, right? I filmed a video so that you could make your 40 videos.
Yeah.
And then that night you still stayed up because you went on Spidey's channel.
Yeah, I had to. I had just too much work.
Damn, man.
And that was after completing my whole weekend of gigs and stuff as well. So it was just non-stop. It just kept going. But the funniest part about the whole thing is that there's in that, that 40 tricks video, there's a phantom trick. I don't remember doing it. As in so I started that video on New Year's Eve and I finished it on New Year's Day. Right. So there's a point.
Right.
There's a point there where I stopped. I stopped because I was like, I'm drinking now, so I'm going to stop. Mm-hmm. And then I woke up the next day hungover, and apparently while I was drunk though, I made another trick, edited it, and put it into the clip. And then when I woke up, it was just in there.
So you have 41 videos, or did you just
no? There was 40 tricks still, but
gotcha.
But it was just in there.
You just didn't remember doing it.
It was so
at
funny.
All. Wow. Okay.
So yeah.
So you've been making a lot of videos since last time. What about gigs? You done any gigs in the last week or two?
6 that you know of, and then one other. Okay, we got the dog. Yeah.
He's like, yes, you have.
What about you, Josh? Tell us about your shoeless gig.
My shoeless gig. Yeah, I love it. So
start the pre-sample off with the sweet shoes that you got for Christmas.
Yeah, for Christmas, I was given a nice Italian branded pair of leather two-toned shoes.
Look, a picture's just going to appear right now.
Look at that.
So they're great shoes.
By the way, I took that photo myself if you're watching this on video form. We have a light box and I put the shoes in there, made it legit so that I could show Jason in high quality what this pair of shoes looked like. Really excited to wear them. And the first chance I get is for a boat. And I'm like, oh, a boat party. All right. Typically a boat party is, sort of up there people, they're going to dress really well. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to wear my nice fancy shoes. Get to the boat and just before you get on, the captain's like, all right, this is a shoeless boat. Everyone's going to put all their shoes into this bucket and you'll get them back at the end.
Into the bucket, dude.
It's literally like a bucket, like a clothes hamper. And I'm just looking at this going, oh, God damn it. So I took a photo of my shoes on the concrete and my bare feet just standing there. That's what I used as my Instagram. I was like, all right, here we go. Shoeless gig. And it was almost going to rain too. So if it started raining, we would all be slipping on this boat because, your feet don't have that much grip. Super weird. So I didn't get to wear my shoes or debut them then. And that sucks.
Sorry to hear that, man. They were nice shoes.
Thanks. They still are.
No, they were. They're not now.
Just
No.
didn't get to wear them.
They've already been broken in.
Yeah. And so besides the shoes, doing magic on a boat or like a private boat is always a little bit weird because it's a small boat. Like I think it was a yacht, but it's still very wavy and you're trying to do magic, but there's like wind. Like I was doing one effect and one card just got picked up by the wind and gone.
Love that.
Yeah.
Especially if you produced it later. It was on the captain's window or something like that.
Card through glass.
Yeah.
Through boat glass. Or,
By the way, guys, I don't know if you know this, but we're sponsored. We're actually sponsored by Liquid Fluel.
Good guys.
Yeah.
Good guys, yeah. Way to cut off my story. Appreciate it. For the fluel.
What are you talking about? We were just talking about card through glass.
Indeed, we were. But all in all, good gig. That's all I wanted to say. And then
You sensitive bastard.
the other event I got to, because I haven't had enough liquid fluid. Hang on.
Well, that sounds good in the camera.
Wow.
Not the camera, the microphone. You know what? It's been
It
a long...
sounded so good you even dubbed over my own sound effect of actually drinking. Wow.
What can I say? I'm an idiot.
Yeah, really quick. The other event I got to do was, so something weird's been happening with these just random locations for events. So I did the boat, but the week or the few days before that, I did a bloody roving gig on a bus. So this is a party bus
Right.
for an 18th.
Yeah.
And you think of a party bus like cool, it's like decked out with, you know, West Coast custom style, you know, rims and stuff. And on the outside, that is what it looks like. But when you get on the inside, it's just an actual bus. Like there's just proper rows of seats and everything. And I'm meant to be doing magic for the hour that this bus is going from one stop to another stop. It was ending up at Dracula's, which is a big cabaret show on the Gold Coast. And I'm trying to navigate my way through each row while having to use one hand to hold on to the rail so that I'm just not getting knocked off everywhere. And it happened quite a few times where I had to like stop mid-effect and just grab onto the rail because old mate driving just like going around a hefty corner or something. Surprisingly, they were still happy with the magic. I don't know how, but it was still fun. But yeah, I went from bus not being able to like stand up properly to like a boat where I couldn't wear my shoes and still couldn't stand up properly.
Cool.
But that's what we do in the magic life. When we're not making content every day, we don't wear our shoes
You make content
on
every day?
boats. I was referring to you as in,
Nah,
you know,
he actually does make content every day. This man posts, what is it? You've got once a day on Facebook, Insta, TikTok. And then you post like three times a week on YouTube. So you post a lot.
yeah, I mean,
then you do the Magic Guys stuff as well.
and then I post all of the Magic Guys content.
and then
You're
you do
welcome.
that as well. Yeah. So you do that as well.
Yeah,
So
it is a lot of content. It's a lot of repurposing content. Like you'll see snippets of this on other socials, and then you'll see exclusive clips of our Patreon on the public one. You know, it's all just.
I would say on
around.
top of your private stuff, the fact that you're doing the Magic Guys as well, you're probably making the same amount of content as me.
Well, yeah, I mean they're
Yeah.
40 minutes long.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
what I mean.
equivalent
Yeah.
to 5 minutes a day, and now we have 2 of them going out a week. So. Yeah, it's a lot of content. It's a lot. It's a lot.
What we're trying to say,
It's a
guys,
lot of
is cheers. All right, bro. All right. So anyway,
Good stuff.
Josh,
And we got tons of questions as well. Thanks for sending them all in. If you haven't already, themagicguyshow@gmail.com. Send us your audio questions or comments in a 1 minute or less clip.
we want to hear from you. But Justine, 1 minute or less.
We love you, Justine. So, yeah, we can kick on to questions or we can, chat about your hair, whatever you want.
Let's talk about my hair.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? Should I cut it all off and go completely bald?
Well, we've had a lot of people have been commenting on that.
And what was the consensus?
So a lot of guys, mostly guys that have long hair, are telling you not to cut it.
Okay.
If you've been reading any of the comments.
Yeah, I have been reading some, yeah.
Some of them were saying you should do it on the last day of your 365.
Like just grow it out and at the very end.
Someone wrote that you should do a cut and restored trick with your hair.
That's a good one.
That's pretty good. And then some people were saying, if you do it, you should give it away to a charity. like a cancer charity.
Isn't that what I said? Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, I think they're just agreeing with you.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So yeah, there's no general consensus. Some are like, don't cut
We'll have
it.
to
Some
start
are
a
like,
poll.
cut it. Some are like, do a trick with it. Some are like, yeah, wait until the end.
As soon as the Magic Guys YouTube page grows enough, we'll put up a poll
Yeah,
because we can't do that yet. How many do you have to get to put up polls again? It's like 1,000, I think, right?
I think it's
think it's
1,000. So yeah, which
So
we
guys,
know about,
guys,
but,
what are you doing? If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, subscribe now. If you're listening to this, go and subscribe.
so we got 2 questions from one of our producers, Patreon producers. If you want to dive in, we have producers now on our podcast. Thanks to Patreon, we have a tier where you can give us inputs, and we interact with you first, like it's a more direct access. And we have some questions from Jesse's Toy Reviews. There's 2 questions. I know they're similarly related, but I picked this question because it's a little different to the normal questions we would get. This is particularly for his situation.
Okay.
So shall we dive in?
Yeah, let's listen.
Here's number 1.
Hello, Magic Guys. This is Jesse Champlin with Jesse's Toy Reviews. So, thank you for having me on your podcast. I'm very excited to be a producer. My question is in regards to your presentation toolkit. So, both when you started your journey and now, how does your personality play a role in how you build up your set? So, we're talking everything from the clothes that you put on, the things that you put in your pocket, as well as in regards to the magical versus technical props that you might use in your different shows. So just giving us a breakdown, not necessarily of what you use, but some of that will of course play a role, but just coming up with, for the example I have is Jason has his hat and his shirts that kind of just scream Jason Marr at this point. Whenever I see anything like those shirts, I'm like, they're awesome. And then Josh, a lot of the times you mention the music, how you have it queued up, and how each part of your thing is scripted in such a way that you can control that little bit of a universe that you have cut out. And so, I was just wondering how all of that plays a role in your magic. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Great question. By the way, this guy is a loyal fan of both of us. He comments on everything. So
Yeah, Jesse.
and now he's a producer. So mad respect. Guy.
Big love.
Big love, everybody. Big love. But let's dive into that question. It's a good question. It's actually
Really
a
good question.
So let's start with when we started. So for me, when I started, I didn't really have a personality. I just did the magic trick. Like I bought the trick, and then my personality was very mirroring of the person that I bought it from.
100%, yeah.
And that's just part of the growth process, though. You know what I mean?
We all do it. All do it.
Yeah. And then over time, though, I think the biggest thing for me is I stopped caring about, one, what people thought of me, and more about what I thought of me. So what do I think's interesting? Well, I think that colorful fruit shirts are pretty interesting.
And this is a new edition, by the way. Right?
Yeah, this is not something
Yeah.
that I've always worn. Yeah, prior to this, it was a lot of anime clothes actually, and then before that, it was I was actually wearing like Carré shirts and stuff. You know, the real like
It's Corey.
it's like that French brand from Culture Kings. You know what I mean?
fancy.
Like I was wearing a lot of that stuff. Remember when we were filming at the very start? I was wearing like all that sort of stuff, the skinny jeans, and truthfully, your personality just evolves over time. These shirts, I wear them now because purely because of how hot it is in Australia, and these shirts are super breathable. Plus, whatever, man. They're fat guy shirts, really, if I'm honest.
I remember when we first started filming, you would always wear your blazer that had all the lapel pins on it.
Yeah.
That was like your style back then.
Yeah, it still would be now if that fit.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, soon, man, down 7 kilos. But
Yeah,
but as
nice,
for
nice.
my personality in magic, it just literally comes down to I had to stop for a little bit, to be honest. I had to stop doing magic for like a little bit before I could come back to it with a personality. It was kind of because if you just keep doing it, you fall into the trap. I mean, we've all seen it. We've all seen that old guy who sounds like a magician, and it's just annoying. But then there are the people who just are themselves who do magic. And I think that comes from, you have to have a completely separate life to magic to be able to do that. It's very important. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I when I first started performing, that is, like when I started doing gigs, I thought that I had to be wearing a 3-piece suit, a very sort of long sleeve shirt and that style of thing, and like a tie, because that's what I would see the older magician guys wearing, and that's what I was seeing on the DVDs that I was watching to learn. And it took a while for me to realize, like, magicians don't have to dress like that. Like, Jason's the extreme. Like, he's found his own complete style where he does none of that. But for me, you know, coming up in the corporate magician world, I originally thought I had to dress like that. And then slowly but surely I realized that you don't. And in fact, sometimes you're sort of, what's the word? You're kind of like...
pigeonholing yourself.
Yeah, you're kind of isolating yourself a little bit from the normal public because you're just a little bit too dressed like, you know, you're in the 50s or something. So I started to cut it back a little bit. So for me, my classic style at a corporate event is like a slim fit button shirt with no tie but the top button done up, and then like a tailored jacket, no vest, and then, you know, my new Italian shiny shoes. So I just found a way to kind of modernize it slightly for my style. Not that it changed majorly, but I think, yeah, the more you get into magic, the more you realize that it's really about you and what you enjoy wearing. There's no like thing you have to wear to do your gigs. Like even now, what I'm really enjoying now is doing gigs where I wear my sneakers, because I love sneakers. I grew up, my first job was working at Foot Locker, and that's when I really got the bug wearing Air Force Ones and Jordans and stuff. And now that I have this sweet pair of Gary V shoes, this white sneaker from K-Swiss, I've started doing shows wearing them, because when I'm on stage and I'm doing my backflips and stuff, it's way easier. And because of the sneakers, now I'll wear, cut jeans with it. So now I'm slowly evolving into more or less what I would wear normally, just a slightly more dressed up version. So
when I go to corporate gigs myself, I wear a jacket. But it's kind of funny if you see it. I'd like wear this. I'd just have a nice jacket on. That's the only difference. So
nice. And then if it's summer, if it's really hot, which it has been lately, at the events I've been doing during the day, I'll just not wear a jacket, but I'll wear still a dress shirt, but then just a waistcoat, vest, roll the sleeves up. And I used to hate that because it would dramatically change the magic I could do, because I would rely so much on a jacket.
Right. Can't do card to wallet no more.
Yeah, you can't do card to wallet. You can't do any fancy switches, and you can't, just have your normal pocket management. So through COVID was actually something that dramatically changed that for me, was me learning this new magic and then realizing to do this new stuff, I don't need a lot of things, and I don't need my jacket. And I think a lot of our street magic helped with that too, because when we were going out filming, it was literally whatever I could fit in my jeans pockets.
Well, I guess this comes into another part of his question, right? Like, what do you carry on you? So whenever I go to a gig, depends on the gig, because sometimes I have a whole trolley full of shit.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm doing like the outdoor street style
you're doing
stuff,
a show.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing like just walk around close up stuff, this is literally all I carry on me. I carry a Sharpie pen, sometimes with like a little chain attached to it for a gag or whatever. I carry 1 or 2 decks of cards, depending on what I feel like doing that night. And then I just carry around some coins and a ring, and that's it. I don't carry anything else.
Nice. And that's all you need.
Nothing else. Yeah. I don't carry anything else. And I can, and if the worst case is that they're like, we need you to do like a 10-minute show, with just those items, I could still do a 10-minute show. So, and then I'm sure it's the same for you, right? You carry very little as well.
Yeah, the more we get into our career, the less we realize we need.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but when I first started, man, all my pockets were just jammed of stuff, because I just didn't want to be in that position where someone wanted to see something else and I'd like run out of stuff, you know?
I remember carrying around, those packet trick wallets.
Yeah,
I had like 3 of them on me. I had like 3 packet trick wallets on me, and then I had like my gimmicked wallet for like certain tricks. And
right,
that's so much stuff.
So crazy. So now I do keep 2 decks of cards on me. I'll keep a Sharpie. I actually, for magic reasons, have 3 Sharpies on me, which might be excessive, but they're really light things to have on you. I always keep 3 coins. I keep some rubber bands.
3 coins, really?
3 coins, yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I always carry 4.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they all the same?
They're all the same size.
Okay,
yeah.
like
They're all the
mine-
same and yeah.
I keep 1 silver and 2 copper coins.
Right,
For
that's
my
interesting.
routines. And
so
then-
I carry 4 Eisenhower dollars and then 1 jumbo coin. Still doing the jumbo coin after all this time. Still doing the jumbo coin.
We're learning more about each other already.
I did-
And look, I personally do not like to perform sponge ball magic,
yeah, me
although it blows minds. Personally, for my image and what I enjoy performing, I don't. But in saying that, I do keep 4 sponge balls in my back right pocket just in case, because when you have kids or very drunk people, it can play a good part.
I don't even carry sponge balls on me.
You're just-
It's not
fast and loose, baby. You're just a rebel.
it's not even a flex. It's just that like I found them. I don't know what it is about sponge balls. I don't even like the look of them. You know, if you get like a photo taken of you and you're there with sponge balls, it just doesn't look good.
I totally get it. I rarely have to use it, but just every now and then it comes in handy.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff that we've learned over the years. Like I bought this trick, not a trick. It's a DVD series by Gregory Wilson called On the Fly or On the Go. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
It's just like all impromptu tricks. And it's brilliant. It's really good. And it's just like, and like literally the way he sells it is, have you ever gone to a gig and just not had anything on you? And then that's it. And then he's just like using stuff on the tables and doing this whole gig video. And then he teaches you the stuff that he did. And it's actually really good stuff. Like the pen trick. What's that called? Recap? I think it's called. Yeah.
Magicians know what it is.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. I also keep a lighter and some flash paper. And I think that's more or less it. There's a few like magic items, which I won't say here. Maybe I'll say on the Patreon, but more or less that's the main bulk of it. Yeah.
I remember when I first went to a gig as well. Yeah, pockets full. I actually had this little satchel. Do you remember that? Do you remember me with my little fucking satchel?
I think so.
I used to have this little satchel. It was full of stuff. I used to just carry it around everywhere. Like,
Wow.
oh, going to the city, better grab my satchel of magic.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because you got to have everything with you. Like
You never know when you're going to need a color-changing flip book.
You remember our friend Isaac, who amazing magician, but
Yes.
he would walk around with a close-up pad in his bag. And I remember meeting my girlfriend for lunch, and Isaac came, and we're in the city, and on the grass he pulled out his close-up pad and did shadow coins for my girlfriend. You know, sometimes we have a little bit more than we need. And just to end on Jesse's question, he asked me about the stage stuff. Yeah. To set a scene, I always have music playing in the background of my stage shows because I've done my shows with music and without music, and with music just adds a whole nother layer for the room. And it also goes back to the music I'm playing before the show even starts. So if I'm doing a public show, the music that's playing as people walk in is just as important as the music that's playing during the show. So if you have a particular theme, you know, like if Jesse's Toy Reviews is doing a show.
Why'd you do air quotations for that?
Oh, because I want to make it specific to the toys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I know his real name. But
Yeah, so do I. I
for the
can see it
purpose
right
of this,
there.
oh yeah, you can. So, you know, if you were doing, let's say you're doing a toy-based show, then you would have really upbeat, childish, fun music playing before the show. It's as simple as that. So should we go to Jesse's second question?
Yes.
Boom. Here we go.
Now.
Hey there, Magic guys. It's Jesse Champlin from Jesse's Toy Reviews. So I got a question about performance. No, Jason, not that kind of performance. We're talking about street magic. So recently, the last couple of years in my area, we've been doing a walkable project. So the community is expanding the sidewalks and they're encouraging storefronts to get vendors out during community days and doing movies and all sorts of stuff. So they're trying to get people outside and doing all the kind of stuff, especially, well, nowadays with the pandemic, things like that kind of slowed down. But hopefully things will get back out there. And I thought this would be a great time for me to get out there to get some experience performing some street magic. And then a question for Josh is, what do we do next? So once we've got that experience performing and people are aware that we are performing, how do we start booking those gigs? How do we build that platform? Obviously, you got to have business cards. You got to have rapport, build that rapport with the different shopkeepers, the restaurants, the bars. That way people want to hire you, and you have to probably build up a brand name for yourself, determine what kind of events you want to work, stuff like that. But I'll let you answer that. And yeah, look forward to hearing from you. And I love watching the podcast. Thanks.
Sorry about the dogs.
Great second question. So just to synopsize.
I should probably join them in the doghouse, actually.
So he's saying in their community, they have a sidewalk project where they're encouraging people to come out and do some kind of performing to promote their businesses and stuff. And then the second thing was, how do you take it from that to doing magic full time?
How do you go from streets to corporate, basically?
Yeah, so I guess he's asking, how do you start doing a thing on the streets? Like, how do you start doing a show?
He's not asking that. He's already doing it, he reckons. He's saying he's already doing it. So he's saying that that's the project. He's already doing it. But how does he go from there? So like, he's doing the streets. How does he go from streets to doing what you're doing?
Gotcha.
Which is funny because you never did streets.
No, I know. That's right. That's right. Okay, so, well, I just want to be clear. Let me just listen to the start of it again, just to make sure.
Hey there, Magic guys. It's Jesse Champlin from Jesse's Toy Reviews. So I got a question about performance. No, Jason, not that kind of performance.
Well, it's still funny.
We're talking about street magic. So recently, the last couple of years in my area, we've been doing a walkable project. So the community is expanding the sidewalks and they're encouraging storefronts to get vendors out during community days and doing movies and all sorts of stuff. So they're trying to get people outside and doing all that kind of stuff, especially, well, nowadays with the pandemic, things like that kind of slowed down, but hopefully things will get back out there. And I thought this would be a great time for me to get out there to get some experience performing some street magic. And then a question for Josh is,
yeah, so he's saying he's thinking that would be a great idea to get some experience doing magic. And then from there, once he has experience, how does he then take it further? Right? Okay. So for someone wanting to start doing street magic, you know, how does one approach that, or how should they look at the type of show they're going to do? You know, should they be doing a book test? Should they be doing rope magic? You know.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just answer that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to go into the streets, the only thing that you need to think of is your pacing. You can do any trick. Like I've done whole shows with just a deck of cards and nothing else, like no table, nothing. I literally just me and a deck of cards, and I built a crowd of like 100 people and do a show, because it's really all about pacing. Comedic timing is very important as well. So when you're building a crowd, there's like, I think I brought this up once before. We had it on the podcast where I was talking about split focus, being able to like entertain a crowd of people while maintaining others. This is our manager. He's come for a cookie.
So anyway, Diesel.
All right, down, boy. Okay, stay. All right. So like, for example, when you're getting your crowd, you need to have what I like to call your intro speech, which is actually going to be your repeat line. It's hard to explain, but if you're not using music, so if you're using an amp, some people just put music on and you can get your first few people from that. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not using an amp and you're just building a crowd, you're not using music or whatever, use a repeat line. And a repeat line is something like you might as well watch me. I'm the best magician within a 10-foot radius. I'm actually pretty good at what I do. It's why I work here on the streets, for people to see me who could not afford to see me if I was famous, which I'm not, but I am the best magician in my house. So you might as well watch me. And then you just go through it again, right? And you can kind of repeat this line a few times, maybe break it up with random things. Like you'll see an old woman and an old man walk past and you can say, excuse me, ma'am, it's really nice to see you dating younger women. You know, like just stuff like that. Just things that will get people's attention. Once you get your first few people, that's when you do your first trick. For me, it's coins, something small, but I play it very loudly. So it's kind of like, here, check these coins out. While you do that, I'll see if I can get some more people over here. Hey, watch me. You know, just obnoxiously yelling.
A little tip I remember seeing, I'm pretty sure it was Gazzo, was he said for someone just starting that isn't ready to be calling people over, is just to have a sign that says world's greatest card trick, like a big sign. And then that would get people to, even to begin with, to start coming over to see.
Yeah, that's the thing that you need to figure out, is like how you're going to get your first few people. So for me, a repeat line is the strongest. For like Joel Fenton, for example, it's loud music.
Yeah, that's right. He'll play actual music on the street.
He'll play music and throw his stuff around at the same time. And then like what Gazzo suggests. See, there's this old saying in street performance that if you can bang a stick, you'll never go hungry, right?
Right.
Which is so true. If you can at least, like when sometimes I'm building a crowd, I have the magic stick and I just smash the table and it creates that loud banging sound, which immediately gets attention. Like someone's like, what the hell's going on over there? And you just call them over. Hey, you want to see a trick? Costs you nothing, only a smile.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
That's it, Jesse. So you just got to start. Find your way, find your in, and start getting that experience, man. I mean, from there,
it's better to perform naked, obviously. Oh, wait, you said not that kind of performance. So.
That's right. Yeah. We like the jokes. Keep the humor coming, guys. So your question as to what you do after that. So don't be in a rush to move to that next step. Like really spend your time as much as you can getting that experience. First tip is I think some magicians just jump into trying to do it professionally too early, and then they just spend all their time trying to get work and they don't get to spend any more time practicing. Like we're very strategic with our practicing time these days. Would you agree? Like we're so busy, it's not like we can spend a whole day reading a book like we used to.
I think my practice comes from working now. That makes sense. Like,
so now we're practicing at the events, like we're testing things out or when we're filming and stuff like that. So
which you can't do until you already have a really good fundamental understanding of magic. So you can't just go to an event and practice a trick until you can already do so many tricks effortlessly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But as a foundation, as somewhere to start, Jesse, you mentioned business cards. So business cards are the easiest things you can start with.
Facebook.
Try and make them as best as you can as well. Whenever it comes to any marketing stuff, like whenever you give someone a business card, they should always say, wow, that's a nice business card. And if they don't, it means you probably need to make it better. So the more money you can spend on a business card to make it thick, to make it look nice with some gold foil or something, thick, the better it will help you in the long run. So business cards are great. Obviously, a website is going to help you, Miles, once you have footage to put on that website, once you have professional photos, but those photos you don't want to take on the street. You want to wait until you're in an actual event.
I'm just kidding.
Unless you just want to, if you want to be a street busker, then obviously whatever the places you want to be performing at, that's what you've got to perceive on your website.
Yeah, you have to pick your niche.
Yeah.
So for Josh, it was corporate people.
Yeah, so I wanted to get photos in a corporate environment. So what I tell every magician starting up is once you're ready to start performing, contact all your local charities, find out when they're having event galas, donate your time. They will have a really nice setup, gala or black tie event. The photographer there will take many photos of you. You get those photos, you use them on your website. Or you bring a photographer with you or videographer so you make sure you're getting the shots you want. So all of that is just basically giving your time in return for the equity you need for your website and your business.
Now that's how if you do it properly. Now, if you really want to get into the corporate world and you can't get a gig, here's what you do.
You go to a wax museum and you get photos in front of the celebrities, which one magician did, by the way. And he got busted.
It's still funny though. Would have been hilarious.
So funny,
if he owned it, it would have been funny. If he had like in fine print wax statue, right? And then later on he gets busted. It's like, dude, it's on the side. What you do is you go to like a nice hotel. I'm talking swanky as. You dress to the nines. You have your friend follow you around with a camera, and you do some magic for the rich folks. Just catch it all. And then when they say, "What's that guy doing filming us?" You just say, "Nothing." Mm-hmm. Or you could just do what Josh said. It's probably better.
Yeah, it's slightly easier to do that. It's slightly easier to do that. It's just a progression thing. You'll just slowly start to call out these charities, and as they're having their events, you get these photos when you can. It's a forever building thing. Even now, I'm always constantly updating my website with little bits when I get that extra photo from an event or that extra bit of footage that they reacted better to this effect than they had in a previous video. It's something you're always working on. So yeah, get business cards, just perform a shit ton. And the more business cards you give out, the more homes you find for your business cards, the better position you're going to be at for people to call you. Obviously, you can do things like contact agencies that book magicians out for events, all those sorts of things. But that's the starting point. Just get really good, get that experience, give out lots of business cards, start collecting footage of you performing. Because to get work, you have to be seen working.
I mean, if you're street performing now, you should have the goal to get so good at street performing that you don't need corporate gigs. And then when you want to go to corporate gigs, you can take your time because you're already making enough money. Nice. Lucky that was empty.
Lucky.
But yeah, anyway, that's our advice for you. I hope you enjoyed it, Jesse.
Jesse.
This summer, one Jesse's question has been answered. Moving on to Dominic Miles.
All right, shall we? All right, Dom, here we go.
Hi Magic guys, my name's Dominic and I'm from Cape Town in South Africa. My question has 2 parts. The first part being, who are your 3 favorite magicians? The second part being, if you could take one skill from each of these magicians, whether it be a performing skill or a technical skill, what would it be and why?
I like this guy's questions.
Yeah.
Every time he
out.
sends questions, they're always very methodical. It's
Yeah.
great.
So 3
You go first.
favorite magicians.
You go first. I always go first. You go first.
Okay, thanks.
Gives me time to think.
3 top magicians. Now look, there's a ton of them, but for the sake of this, Steve Cohen, Teller,
David Copperfield.
I don't want to go too obvious, you know. I don't want to go too obvious.
Yeah, try and name someone that makes you sound like you know things about magic. Ed Marlowe.
Yeah. Di Vernon, Ed Marlowe. Okay, Steve Cohen, Teller, and RZ Wind. I'm going to say those 3.
Okay. I would say my favorite magicians is Paul Daniels. That was hands down one of my favorites. Gazzo, obviously, for obvious reasons. My last magician, I don't know, because I never really thought beyond that. Like those two have always kind of been the ones that I really liked. If I had to, David Stone.
Great.
For sure.
Great.
Yeah, there we go.
I was thinking of mine in the way of, for the next question, like what skill would you want from those?
Right. So here's
Because there's also, I should have said Darren Brown as well. You know,
So
he would be in
this,
there too.
well, this is my thought on that second part of the question is that I can't say that I would want anything. I would rather hang out with these dudes and gain knowledge from them. I wouldn't want what they have because that only comes through experience.
I guess if we reframe it, like what is the skill they particularly do that we really admire? You know, like for example,
It's just experience.
yeah, it is experience. But for example, like Steve Cohen, the thing I really admire with him, if you ever see his show in real life, is his ability to think on his feet is beyond anything I've ever seen. His thinking in the moment and creating these connections with doing a Q&A routine. And
Yeah, that would have been that must have taken a lot of experience.
that was crazy. Yeah, the amount of experience and thousands of shows he must have done.
That's my point though, right? Like that literally is the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, great.
And I would love to share those experiences with those guys. Like sitting down with Steve Cohen, for example, and he's not even in my top 3 favorite magicians, but I would still love to sit with him and just listen to his experiences and the advice that he had. I can't say that I would want anyone else's skills though, because these skills are all relative to, and I know that's like this hypothetical thing where it's like saying like, what superpower do you want? Do you want to be able to fly or have super strength? But like,
Or be
but it's-
invisible.
But it's like, I think yours and my skills as magicians are already like pretty damn good that there's not really any reason to steal someone else's skills or to have someone else's
Yeah,
skills.
I think you're taking it too deep. I think that's what it is. Like we're being real about it, going, well, we don't want their skills. But in light of, in a light setting to what Dom's saying, like I can answer like Steve Cohen thinking on his feet, RZ Wind, it's his boldness and his ability to do his memory work. And then Teller is just his finesse that he has with his sleight of hand.
Okay, cool. I don't know. I actually just don't know how to answer it, to be honest. Like,
That's cool.
Not because like
We'll give
I
you till
think-
next week.
I think it's a good question. I do. I just don't. It's not something that I can think about. Cause
Yeah. He had one follow-up question. Do we want to use it now?
I don't know. Is it anything like that question? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course.
All right, third question. Here we go.
Hey Magic guys, it's Dominic from South Africa and I'm back with another question.
Still hasn't left the
If
country.
you could teleport anywhere in the world to perform magic for one day, where would it be and why?
So I like this kind of question. This one's a good one.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like
Hey, look,
this.
any summarize that in 11 seconds. Good work, my friend.
Where would you like to go? It's a
I could
good
teleport
question.
anywhere, boom, and now I'm there performing.
Yeah, one day though. You only get one day.
I mean, the classic would be Vegas, right?
Would you go to Vegas?
To do a show.
Yeah,
Like you're there in
are we,
Vegas,
Are we
you're
talking
doing
like
a big show.
Are we saying like we can go anywhere? Like you appear like on David Copperfield's stage, for example.
Yeah. I think that's what they're
Is that
saying.
where you would go?
I would probably pick like somewhere like Broadway in New York.
Okay,
I reckon.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, it'd be cool to like, you know, appear in like Italy or something in like some of the historical places and like do magic there or in like Venice or something. But yeah, I reckon it'd be like New York and Broadway, to be in like one of their theaters that have been around for like over 100 years.
New York.
You know, some of those theaters, I can't remember where it is, but there is a theater that still has a trapdoor from Houdini's time that's been sealed up and everything, but it's all there. Like if you go under the stage, you can still see all the framework. Our buddies Chris and Mike from the Naked Magicians took a photo when they did one of their shows there.
That's cool.
It was crazy to see.
That's pretty cool.
So for me, it'd probably be New York. Yeah. What about you?
No, again, it's another big one. I think I like working in the idea of working in the Japanese magic bars. Like the French Drop in Tokyo. That's pretty cool.
Sick. That would be great.
It's like simple. It's not like a massive stage thing, but it's I've been there before actually, funnily enough, but I thought it would be like awesome to actually perform in there.
That would be awesome. Same with the Magic Castle. One day
Yeah,
when
the
we
Magic
perform
Castle. There you go. I'll
That'd
change
be
my
sick.
answer to that. The Magic Castle. Boom. Boom. I'm in.
Yeah, there we go, Dom. Yo, thanks for your questions. I think that sums up today's ep.
I just enjoy spending so much time with you guys. It's
know.
hard to say goodbye this soon.
I know. Yo, this has been real. We're gonna jump over to the Patreon now. Film a
If you'd like to
Patreon
see the 0.5, head on into our Patreon.
Until next time, friends, stay safe, stay magical.
Big love, everybody.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.
You know what I mean?